is myself and Disco.
How's it going, guys? And
And
yeah,
yeah,
we got the
so
winner of the EST bracket, Blind Asian, and the winner of the GMT bracket, Ganshed, going head to head.
yeah, yeah. so format that we're running on for all these matches is that both players is going to play the same tribe, and it's going to be on a tiny map on dryland. So we're going to have a lot of really early fights going on for many of these games. The first game, as you can see, is going to be Zebasi. Uh, so one of the more interesting things that could be seen here is that there's not going to be too many mountains anywhere, so we might see from both players getting riders really early, just to really make advantage of all the flat lands around.
Absolutely. Another thing that for Blind Asian is going to be a particularly interesting choice early on is that he's got the option to go Ruin or Village. And it looks like he's going to go for Village. Probably a good move, especially on the tiny maps. Secure
Yeah,
your villages, grab the riding tech, and then you can try your luck because as some people know, you can get fishing from a ruin on drylands game. Totally not helpful.
and so we finally have a meeting from Ganshed, 5 stars from Blind Asian, and so one thing we've been seeing a lot more from a lot of these games is that sometimes better to be the second person on a tech trade just because you get an actual tech where the other player might just only get 5 stars.
Mm,
So we'll see how that goes.
true. So yeah, Ganshed's gonna get the 5 stars. Probably buy a tech, and they got the riding tech for free.
Mm. That said, uh, of course,
Ooh,
Blind Days is not
we're
going
gonna
to be
see
able
the
to
Nolo
use much of
Explorer.
it.
Oh yeah. Hmm. Looks like Ganshed's gonna be securing his second city, and will be able to pretty easily pressure. He can probably do a forward bounce with his rider, capture the city with the warrior. We'll see. It looks
Well,
like going for the ruin.
I figured that he probably wouldn't go and try to siege with the warrior just in case he got unsieged. And season with the rider, Blind Agent has to actually put 2 troops on killing the rider instead of just one troop to get rid of the warrior.
Hmm. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be able to unsiege and take the ruin, which is going to be really helpful because that warrior's only on 5 health. And let's see if he's having any other considerations.
So
Let's see.
Ganshed does have an opportunity to forego upgrading his second city to stop Asian from getting the ruins. But the question is the loss in economy worth it? And it looks like to him it is.
Boom. And let's see how. Okay, nice replacement with the rider. And, all right, that's the turn. Blind Nation playing it at very much a bullet pace. Nice to see. Genshin taking his time just a bit more.
So now it looks as though Blind Ace is back on the ruins to try to get some more space seen. Maybe try to find another village so that I can get an advantage here. This
Yeah,
is one of the This is one
yeah.
of the few games where Both players have been pulled into sort of even city count.
It does seem that way. Let's see. Is Ganshed's also streaming? I'm gonna go look at Ganshed's stream now and see how many cities he has. Okay, so limited vision. It looks like Blind Asian actually has enough vision for the both of the players. Um, Having that explorer done. Looking for a fifth and a sixth village in this game is going to be critical. The fight over that central ruin too. The longer
Yeah,
you wait, the more it can turn into. If that's a giant ruin, then that'll be bad news for whoever doesn't
yeah,
get that. Similarly, a 10-star would be pretty rad.
of course. One thing that's gonna come up is as the game continues forwards is Ganshed not upgrading his second city. You know, an economy loss can sometimes really hurt a game if it goes on for too long.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You can't put off that development. So he's going to continue to fight for that central ruin. And this is going to be sucking up a lot of resources for both players. Oh, no city. No city found.
But at least you can tell that there's another city nearby. So it's at least you can get absolutely nothing from that. So it will
Hmm.
look as though Gansit's gonna get his third city after Blind Asen gets his. So the economy around the tip in Blind Asen's favor.
Lion Nation also has superior vision on both of Ganshed's cities right now. And Ganshed's going to be kind of staying compact, going for a little bit more defensive. And I'll look back over at Blind Stream. Hmm. I don't know about that warrior placement. But yeah, that third village is going to be nice to grab for sure. I wonder if he is going to try to grab the roads tech. Could we be seeing something like that? Would be a very effective way to get that second city leveled up to 3 and also to level up the new city and to get some mobility for the units. And as expected, Blind Agent kind of left that warrior hanging a little bit. Wasn't really the best move that he could have done. It wasn't really posing that much of a threat, and it looked like it was quite easily countered. Gantrit's now going to have a decent amount of pressure able to be applied to Blind Agent City, and he'll probably be able to secure the rune in a few turns.
This is very much looking there's gonna be a situation where wait,
Very nice by Blind Agent.
that is a very nice that forces Ganshed to go and get rid of that rider ins- instead of really focusing down on stopping Blind Ace from just taking the ruins.
Unfortunately, it does look like he'll be able to do that successfully, though, because he just needs Rider Warrior to kill the Rider, and then his 8 HP Rider can kill the other one.
Yeah,
So it was a decent move, and it just forced him to counter rather than being aggressive. There's the third city. Then we see a third city for Ganshed. That'll be really big. That'll be a really big point.
Because you, if nothing else, just having the third city to match help. Uh, it seems as though Blind Asian does not want to go for riders. I mean, go for roads just yet. And instead, is focusing on just upgrading a bunch of farms. This is gonna eat up a lot of money, given the high cost of farms. But
But he'll be able
very,
to, yeah, very reliably go for multiple riders a turn.
yeah, it's an early game cost
Hopefully, he doesn't stay on
to
the
make late
ruin.
game much better.
Hmm.
So mm,
Be right back.
one thing that it seems like Blind Asian is counting on is that uh Ganshed either wouldn't have the money or just wouldn't plan for it, or like wouldn't for any reason get roads. That's how you can safely just put a rider on one of his cities, because otherwise that could be a very dangerous thing to have.
Very true. Not very defensively oriented. Hmm. And it looks like they're going to continue fighting over the ruin.
The ruin's gonna be pretty much the main point of this whole battle for at least a while now, until one play gets giants, and then we'll see if everything switches on priorities.
Uh,
I wonder if Gansett can move his rider off the ruins just to sort of play uh, and watch what happens. And he's saying there, forcing blind Asians to get rid of the rider.
ooh, did he just make his rider a veteran? That's a really nice move. Hmm.
So it looks like blind Asians not deal with the veteran rider and just get his into a better position, given the amount of, given that he didn't make any new units last time. So what will Gansett get? He gets 3 population, which isn't bad long term. Lets him upgrade it lets him upgrade his capital for at least one more level, which can mean everything in a game like this.
Mm-hmm.
It looks as though Gansett's gonna find another ruins on the other side of Blind Asian.
Hmm.
If if Gansett can get that ruins too, that could be just one of another major advantage for him.
And what did he get on that ruin?
The ruin he got was population.
Ooh. Oh, and there is the giant. And it looks like he's going to use it for the 5 stars back.
It looks as though Ganshead's gonna get a rider on the back end just to try to have a better chance of getting the ruins. But Blindation's gonna see the ruins first and grab them. And he's gonna find another village in the corner. Uh, how much it helps may be questionable given that he now has to deal with the giant right next to him.
Very true.
So it could
Looks like
very
he's
much be,
looking at construction.
yeah, it looks like he's planning on getting construction to make an easier pathway to upgrade, as otherwise there's not
Really
really
double
much he can
text.
do. And Gansett buys roads to try to stop the grabbing.
Hmm.
And the main things you might see is Gansett focus most of his attention east on seeing if the giant could just roll through the west side. And if he can focus his attention on the east, he can get more cities to really push an economic advantage instead of an even game.
Mhm. Oh, very nice. Veteran upgrade. Ooh, I'm gonna go for construction. Oh, and there's his giant. Look at that. Beautiful.
Well, he can't get it just yet. He still
He's
needs some
got
more population.
he's got the gate of power.
Oh, yep, and that would do it.
And he can
Now
actually
that
make a second giant in his capital now. Using Park of Fortune and another windmill. Very nice move. We got ourselves a game on this.
Mhm.
We have a game on our hands.
Now with the massive focus east, it seems as though Gansett's trying to figure out where he really wants to put his troops. Before, before going east would mean fighting off it pretty easy to defeat Ryder, but now over there is a veteran one. But one thing that Gansett did find was in wide open city, which is gonna force Blind Agent off the ruins.
I think he can do that without. I think he can just get it off with those two riders.
Yeah. So Gansett won't be able to see those two riders, so
Mhm.
he can only see the one.
He's hoping that there isn't another one back there, but unfortunately, it is.
Meanwhile, in the west, Gansett really underplanned for a new giant.
Ganshed is taking him a little bit with his turns.
Yeah. Tricky situation to figure out which ones to attack and which ones not to bother with.
Yeah, definitely worth reminding though that this is a bullet format. Speedy turns are the MO. Here we go. Oh,
And Blind Ace
bummer.
just gets an Explorer, something that wouldn't be helpful too much in this period point in the game. Just the sheer nature of that not being very helpful ruins. It's gonna very much uh, ease up a lot of the problems that Ganshed may have with this game going long term.
Hmm. Going defensive. Curious why he did not go for the second giant there, using a windmill and the Park of Fortune in his capital. I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Potentially saving it on the off chance that things go wrong.
That does sound like a strategy that he is akin to using. Certainly, that is what happens when I've played him a couple times. Always saving the monuments for the giant pops. There is something to be said about this game about using your monuments and your giant pops offensively instead of waiting, because usually by the time you wait to get sieged, it's you're already in a pretty tough spot. So just getting one giant pop is a short term solution, but the overarching kind of game state doesn't usually ever swing too far back into your favor.
Yeah. That said, sometimes giant pops can be very instrumental in just sort of a bait like a bait situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we'll see if that's the point that Blind Ason's trying to do here of baiting out a siege, or if it's just indecisiveness. So another thing that Blind Ason might be a bit worried about is just uh not having a proper defense for the west side. I mean the east side. Now we're gonna see Ganshed get a giant for the east side now.
Mm,
Possibly just to go and chase down that little pocket of that little city or two over in that corner. I'm not quite sure exactly if that's the right play though, given that that corner is so far away from the battlefield. But we'll see how well it treats him.
mm. Blind's agent kind of wasn't a good play.
Foundation is trying to make a bunch of roads to reach that city, but miscalculated where he needs to make his roads. So he spent a lot more money than he probably wanted to.
Hmm. Oh, that luckily worked out.
Still, even if that worked out, he still had a sort of unit disadvantage on that side.
Hmm.
Probably just going to rely on the west side to sort of keep the pressure on, though most of the west side is sort of playing cat and mouse with giants.
Hmm.
One thing about giants is that usually whoever attacks first had a pretty big advantage, so neither one of them wants to let the other one get the first attack.
Hmm. Yeah, because then from there you can that first giant hit, and with the retaliation, you can whittle down those giants pretty efficiently.
It seems that the longer this game goes, the more this game is sort of gonna be a ticking clock for Blind Asian. Either he's gonna have to deal with the giant on the east side, or he's gonna have to get some sort of way of pushing to the capital on the west side.
He needs to find a way to make some offensive plays. He's done a decent job holding off of Ganshed's pressure, but he needs to create his own form of offensive opportunities.
Yeah. Now against it just made everything worse for Blind Asian by cutting off his village in the corner.
And he's going to go for the giant road. It's going to be very risky because Ganshed can just do the same thing to him.
Mm. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Blind Asian's just doing it in advance, just to sort of force in a way of forcing against its hand. Because like I said, this is gonna be a bigger and bigger problem as the game goes on.
And it looks like he's going to let Ganshed get that fourth city. It's going to be big.
Well, you can't really stop against it getting the city. So better to cut your losses and plan for a different attack.
Completely agree. Let's see. This could be decided pretty quickly if the Genshin makes the right moves here.
Seems as though the Stringo blind days and photos probably Gangster was probably initially planning on doing another siege, but then it seems almost as if he's gonna back out of that plan last minute and just deal with a weekend. Oh no, he's gonna actually still siege. Look, it looks as if Ganshed tried to get another giant just to save himself without being forced to retreat his own giant, but c- then realized after making the windmill that he couldn't. So we might see in a few turns his Ganshed try to hurry up and get both organization and farming just to get that other giant. So it's gonna delay the game that much more.
Mm-hmm. But interesting decision for Ganshed to retreat the giant and play a little bit more defensive. Well, he's going to go for that west city or east city.
He's gonna
And
try to get the advantage of just cities and just play the slow game from there. So now Blind Isn't forced to make his move as fast as possible because he knows he just can't keep the east side going. And if Gansgy can just get the pop fast enough, that's gonna be the end of the game.
mm,
Is the giant pop.
we got another giant. Okay.
So that's probably just gonna be the end of the game because
Mm,
Because Blundation has lost a bit of health on his giant, just trying to kill off the first giant. He's gonna have a harder time, less health to kill off the second giant.
yep. Definitely agree on that one. Mm. And looks like he's going to be opting to wear down his giant. Finish the job that he started.
Yeah,
Zone of control, buddy.
this will be the second time in this game that sort of Blundation messed up on his roads.
It can be so tricky, man.
With so much money lost, you know. Now it comes question of how you gonna deal with things. Though he still has the block of fortune, so he still can get that second giant on his capital. Probably not a situation he planned for, but a situation he still has in his back pocket.
Mm-hmm. But kind of as I mentioned earlier, figuring out how to turn out, just a single event giant pop that's a short term fix to, making that much more significant and turning the game into your advantage, it's gonna be a lot harder.
Yeah. In most cases, even if you do get the giant pop, you at least want it to be in a situation that's even-ish. But losing a situation like this, it's gonna be very hard to turn around.
now it's 5-2 cities. This is not looking good.
Uh, it's even 24 stars per turn versus 10, more than double the income.
Nice.
Interestingly, it seems as though Plantation doesn't even notice that he has the Block of Fortune. Or Plantation make a Block of Fortune on his second city instead of his capital.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the last play he needs, but to wait this long for such a play might have been a mistake. We'll see if it ends up screwing him over or if it helps.
Yeah, he could have made a giant a lot earlier. He's gonna just try to whittle that guy down. Hmm. And looks like he's going to try to isolate that giant and maybe try to trade down a bit. Both of them are at half health. And yeah, at this point in the game, he pretty much just has to wear down those giants.
Uh, and just prevent himself from getting sieged.
Mm-hmm. Once the giants are dead, the game is over.
Sort of a race to see who gets seeds first.
Oof. There's another giant for Ganshed.
Mm. The play maybe just to get as much over there as possible to hopefully kill a giant if it seizes first.
Hmm.
I think by this point, uh, Land Agents is probably just gonna run out of time at this point. I don't see a way for a Plant Agent to really get his giant there fast enough.
Yeah, the game outcome does look very inevitable in favor of Ganshed at this moment.
One of the things that seems as though Plant Agent uh didn't take advantage of is just trying to get his giant, trying to use a road to get his giant to Ganshet's capital faster. Because by this point, with so many troops around, the only way that Blind Asim was gonna get a siege on the capital was just with a giant. But now there's just too
Mm-hmm.
much over there.
Yeah, it's too well protected. Hmm. Brian climbing for the ruin. That's quite a gamble.
Well, I think it's just not much else to do with that city over there. Might as well.
Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do, Mister Blind Asian?
More whittling down. We're just gonna start seeing ditch defender before Blind Asian just resigns the first game.
Yeah, because he's gonna easily get the siege on this guy. All right. I think that's it for the first game.